maybe 10 minutes to spare. I think this will be more than enough time to get my point across and just continue to blow Frank Martin and his team out the water for basically bowing out of a very lucrative fight. Now, as you guys know, Shakur Stevenson found a replacement for Frank Martin due to the fact that basically they got talked out of the fight. And then I heard a story, about what allegedly supposed to happen. And if that is in case what happened, once again, Frank Martin is looking worse and worse as days go by for not accepting the fight with Shakur Stevenson. So Shakur Stevenson basically is still set to fight November the 16th on a Thursday in Las Vegas. The venue has not been determined yet. More than likely, it'll be at either the MGM Grand or the Michelob Light Arena. So the fight is going to go on. And Frank Martin's replacement is Edwin Los De La Santo, a guy that says he wants all the smoke with Shakur Stevenson. And based off what I've seen of him and looked at footage of him, now he's fought on PBC cards, but I don't know if he's a PBC fighter, if he's directly signed to the PBC. But then I was listening to this story that Blue Blood put out about what was allegedly relayed to him from Frank Martin's camp, and that sounded a little bit absurd, where basically this is what Blue Blood said that supposed it happened, but I have to poke some holes in that and I have to question that. Now, apparently Frank Martin said that basically that people turned down the fight on his behalf, and is also tied to Derek James, saying that, well, Derek James was going to spread himself thick by trying to, basically get prepared for an Errol Spence rematch that's supposed to take place in December with Terrence Crawford, which yet had been announced. And then at the same time, possibly getting Anthony Joshua prepared for a December showdown as well. And then, he has Ryan Garcia. And then he's getting Jermell Charlo ready for his showdown with Canelo. Okay, so my question is, why did you even negotiate in the first place if you knew it was going to be scheduling conflicts? That doesn't make any kind of sense. It was stated months ago that Shakur Stevenson was looking to get back in the ring around November. Everybody was aware of this, including the WBC. It was stated that Shakur Stevenson was trying to get back in the ring and looking to get back in the ring in November. So why would you sit up there and negotiate a fight for November? Once again, accept the fight for November and then pull out of the fight. That doesn't make any kind of sense. And then to sit up there and say, well, Derek James allegedly posted turned down the fight on his behalf. Okay, so Derek James is your manager or agent? So you signed a power of attorney to Derek James. Now, I know some of those PBC fighters have power of attorney with Al Heyman, which why it's such a cloud of suspicion around the PBC and what Al Heyman's real role is surrounding the PBC. So I need somebody to help me explain that. So I didn't know Derek James was a manager or agent, or he had a power of attorney to accept or not accept fights on Frank Martin's behalf. So if that's the case, that's going on with Frank Martin, that's a really bad look. Or did Errol Spence turn down the fight? Because Errol Spence supposed to be your promoter. But it appears that Tom Brown and his TGB was going to broker the deal. So once again, you agreed to all this stuff, and then to say, oh, well, so now that's the new excuse. Oh, it didn't have nothing to do with money. It's a scheduling conflict and all that stuff. That don't make no kind of sense. Everybody knew when Shakur Stevenson was going to get back in the ring. It was no secret. So how could you sit up there and they told you? I'm pretty sure they told you in negotiations what date the fight was going to happen and where it was going to happen. So let me get this straight. You didn't look on the contract or the proposal before you agreed to everything, and then you turn back around. Oh man, I just want y'all to understand how this sounds. Man, well, we had a change of plans. Now that I think about it, I ain't gonna be available. My trainer, Derek James, ain't gonna be available because he got to get Errol Spence prepared. And I just want y'all to understand how ridiculous that sounds. And if Frank Martin told that to Blue Blood, like I said, he looks worse and worse by the minute. At the end of the day, I think people need to just accept the truth that either Frank Martin just was like, well, I'm not ready for Shakur Stevenson, or looking at the PBC perspective, I could lose this fight. And then my value drops even more that I really don't have in the first place. And once again, Frank Martin is a relatively unknown fighter. So that's why I found it ridiculous when people were sitting up here talking this notion that Frank Martin, a ballroom fighter, should get 50-50 with Shakur Stevenson. Now, I don't know. Now, people keep saying that the WBC can mandate a 50-50 split. I don't know if they have that kind of power. Now, I'm gonna look into it, and I'm gonna make some phone calls, and I'm gonna talk to people that's surrounding the situation and that's aligned with this particular situation. But if that's what Frank Martin told Blue Blood Sports, like I said, I wouldn't even have reported that if I was Blue Blood, because Frank Martin did himself a great disservice. So basically, you got it to where people can turn down fights on your behalf. That make you look even worse. Makes you look even worse, man. To say, oh, we can't take this fight because it'll be a scheduling conflict after agreeing to the fight. So you are that unaware of what's going on. That's not good business, man. That's not good business whatsoever. So like I said before, it's just best if Frank Martin just go somewhere and just be quiet, because the more information that comes out regarding why this fight didn't happen, and then somebody that may be a PBC fighter. I don't know if he's officially assigned to the PBC or he operates as a free agent. But yeah, this is just a bad look. Well, it don't make sense for him to sit up there and say, "Oh, well, people is not informed of what's going on." To sit up there and make it look like Frank Martin was totally clueless. Because here's the thing, like I said before, why this looks suspicious is because, once again, why did you wait till Saturday to announce that it wasn't going to be no fight when it was announced last Tuesday that a deal was in place? You waited a whole almost 4 to 5 days to say, oh, nah, we don't want the fight. First, it was money issues. Now it's scheduling conflict. Listen, man, I'm not stupid, and I hope y'all ain't stupid, but some of y'all are being made to, get stupid. And I don't mean that in a good way, in a Mac Dre way. People are stupefying you guys by feeding y'all BS. This sounds absurd. So if this is what's going on with Frank Martin, he's totally not in control of his situation. So if it's to the point to where people can turn down fights on his behalf, or basically accept fights on his behalf, and then turn around 4 to 5 days later and say, nah, we changed our mind, still a bad look for him, and you can't get out of this. But anyway, I'll be back with more later on. This your boy Town. I'm out.